Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Sealeze part number D480DUR09BL3. This is that is a pretty long part number to basically say heavy-duty door sweep. It's a bristle style door sweep, and it does a pretty good job at being a door sweep, and we're going to discover why. I believe at least that's the case. Let's remove it from the packaging, take a closer look at it. Okay, so here it is. This is a D480DUR09BL. Okay, bristle sweep. That part number, D480, is representative of the profile of this item, and in particular the aluminum holder. Okay, this is a substantially thick holder, does not flex very much. I have to exert a lot of energy on this to get it to move, you know, in this sort of fashion. Okay, it doesn't move very much because it's so thick. The DUR stands for the dark bronze or the Duranodic finish. It is dark. But there's a difference between black and what this dark bronze is. This is a very dark bronze anodized finish, not black. The 09 is a reference to the length of the bristle, which basically means about 0.9 inch. And the BL stands for brush. Okay, black brush, in fact. The 3 in the part number just means this is a 3-foot length. This 3-foot length actually measures 36 inch. Sometimes they run a little long, sometimes they don't. They'll never be shorter than what you order, but sometimes they're a little bit long. You can count on having to do certainly a little bit of trim on weather stripping. Speaking of trim, before you just go about cutting this item, be mindful there are actually 3 components in this. There's the aluminum, there's the bristle, and then there's the steel holder. So don't throw this into your miter box and just start cutting. You want to, cut that. The factory has probably a pneumatic snipper for doing that sort of work, crimping it at the same time. Okay, so why would you use this sweep? Well, you would probably use it because of its dimensional properties, number one. You would look at that initially, and if we scroll down, you'll see the size of this sweep, and it's about 2-inch overall length. The holder is about 1 inch. The bristle is about 1 inch itself, just slight of that 1 inch. And that 09 means it's that, it's really 0.94 inch, but it's right in there, about 15/16 or so. A very nice and thick piece of material here. So, and that's the D480 part of that part number as well. Now, where would you use this? Well, anywhere where you needed a bristle length a little bit longer than average. Okay, average might be 5/8, something in that range. If you have a standard application, you don't need a long door sweep because you're just going to have to tug it up, higher on the door. But the length of the bristle tells me on this that they have a heavier undercut than normal, or they might not have a threshold at all. So be mindful. That's the first thing you're looking at. What length do you need when it comes to an insert or a seal type of material? Now, why would you use this beyond the dimensional properties? Well, it's a bristle, and there are lots of pieces of insert material, silicone, neoprene, other types of neoprene, closed cell and open cell, other types of synthetics, synthetic rubber-based products. Obviously vinyl, polyurethane, pile, also known as mohair. There's nylon bristle like this, and they all have their areas of higher performance than others. If it was very high heat, very high temperatures, I'd choose silicone. If I had a lot of friction and abrasion going on, I would use polyurethane. If I had a need to seal something from water intrusion, I would use closed cell neoprene. Okay, if I needed something to contour itself to an irregular surface and at the same time give me a relatively low closing force requirement, and with a focus on irregular sill, I would use this. And what I'm doing with my hand and my fingers is I'm demonstrating how exceptionally well bristle will contour to an irregular surface. What's an irregular surface? A pitted concrete sill. A little longer bristle, maybe there's no threshold, but you got a pitted concrete sill, you're going to seal right off against that. And sealing over these irregular surfaces, you know, even if they're irregular by, you know, hundredths of an inch in irregularity, you know, if even in the extreme example of a finger that's, let's say, 1/2 inch thick, it's doing a great job, isn't it? I mean, just superb. So that's where you're going to use the bristle, in my opinion. Bristle's great in lots of applications outside of that, but if I knew that I was in a food processing plant or big pharma, in a facility where drugs are manufactured, I don't know anything about the process, but these types of applications have regular scheduled maintenance, close downs, tear downs, wash downs. So if I was going to be putting a hose on my bristle, I probably wouldn't use bristle there. So be mindful. Pick your tool. Pick your weapon of choice, I suppose. But this would be a great tool. Now, what's evidence of that? The fact that people in the restaurant business like these. Why do they like them? They're regularly inspected. The inspector is looking for daylight. If they see daylight, the logic is critters can get in if you have daylight. There's no daylight when you have a bristle. Okay? You try to do that with a piece of neoprene, it ain't going to happen. You're not going to get a seal. Okay? So be mindful. Bristle is great because it just really gets in. And another thing about Sealeze in particular, and I will tell you that if I was going to use bristle, if I was using it for me personally, I would use Sealeze because I feel that when I touch this material, it's denser. There are more, it seems to me there are more fibers per square, you know, millimeter than otherwise because of that. If I do this with other sweeps, I'm going to have breaks in my in the continuity of my seal. Okay, not with Sealeze. Okay, so it's a great sweep in that regard. Maybe a heavier than average undercut, larger than average, and irregular surface. I think you've got yourself a match made in heaven. You can order this item in lots of different lengths. If you have a need for a custom length, by all means, let us know by ordering the next longest piece or pieces and simply indicate in the comment field the net length you'd like for us to ship the material out at. And the reasoning is because, well, you know, it'll save you the trouble of cutting, especially that steel, but it'll give you that slotted hole at the proper distance and the proper center to center as well. This is a 3-foot piece, and it would be considered industry standard that a 3-foot length would have 4 holes and that a 4-foot length would have 5 holes, etc. And while that's not an absolute rule, that is a rule of thumb, so to speak. Speaking of those holes, screws are included, and Sealeze as standard provides hex head self-drilling screws. They're the only company that I'm aware of that does that standard. You have to go out of your way to get something other than a self-drilling screw. That's not hex head. With certain types of weather stripping, there'll be round head or pan head style screws, but they're generally always self-drilling. Now, the other thing about ordering that custom length is we'll give you factory original holes, and you'll notice that those holes are slotted. That allows you to tailor that unit to a sill that's not level or to a door that's not been hung plumb. After you drill that hole, also when you're drilling it, that drill bit has a tendency to walk a little bit before you pierce in, whether it's steel, stainless steel, bronze, aluminum, fiberglass, wood. So those slotted holes really help finish off the installation and get that exactly where you like it, because not enough contact is the same as having no door sweep at all. Too much, now your door doesn't close. So be mindful of that. There is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Sealeze products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Sealeze does only brush. They do only bristle. As a rule, I think they have a couple of other products that might be open cell neoprene tape backed for use in sealing certain dock leveler situations, but by and large, it's brush. If you're looking for brush, they've got it. Now, why would you go to them over other people? Well, it's very likely that what you need, no one else makes. If you want brush that's 6-inch long, I'm pretty sure Sealeze is going to have a solution. Why would you need such a thing? Believe it or not, we've had the elephant enclosure from the such and such city zoo call us, and with these giant, epically huge doors that slide, they want to just seal that off. Aircraft hangar doors, same scenario. So if you have unusual applications where you need some brush, Sealeze is going to be hopefully not only your first choice, but possibly your only choice, and they'll do it great. Any questions on the D480 in a DUR finish? You can do it in CLA, which is clear anodized. You can probably also do it in gold, but don't quote me on that. In an 09 length, in a 3-foot length, or any 09 brush length, or any other Sealeze product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.